Hello, it's Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Welcome back to the channel. Trump's Epstein world war is widening, unfortunately. We're here in Singapore. Not sure exactly how we're going to get back to Armenia at the moment. But anyway, just to bring you up to date on latest developments. And before I do, I just want to remind people that we've been watching a lot of Western media and really been appalled at how Western media, in some part, has been portraying this widening regional and increasingly global war. We know that the Western media has, from time to time, failed to, produce the truth, and even used propaganda to support Israel's genocidal attacks on Gaza. We know that because when we look at the facts and we look at who's behind the reporting, unfortunately, we see a bias despite the Western media portraying itself as neutral.
BBC News Middle East editor Rafi Berg is being accused of being a Mossad and CIA collaborator, with some media reports claiming he has links to high-ranking figures in these agencies. In 2024, Berg was exposed by BBC News staff of micromanaging the broadcaster's coverage of Israel's genocidal war in Palestine's Gaza, watering down stories critical of Tel Aviv, and fostering what staff describe as a culture of systematic Israeli propaganda. BBC journalists also said that Berg repeatedly sought to put Israel's army front and center while stripping Palestinians of their humanity. So, who is Rafi Berg? Well, Berg was born and raised in England. He then pursued Jewish and Israeli studies at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in 1989 and obtained a bachelor's degree from the London School of Economics in Modern and Medieval History in 1992. Before joining BBC News in 2001, he worked for the U.S. State Department's Foreign Broadcast Information Service, which gathers intelligence information from media sources outside the U.S. In February 2020, Berg published a book titled Red Sea Spies: The True Story of Mossad's Fake Diving Resort, in which he bragged about his links to former Mossad commander Danny Limmer. The book also glorified the story of a Mossad operation that involved smuggling Ethiopian Jews into Israel. Berg publicly celebrated the launch of his book with an event in London attended by an Israeli embassy spokesperson. On more than one occasion, he bragged on social media that he had seen his book on Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu's bookshelf. After publicly boasting of his links to figures complicit in Israel's decade-long occupation of Palestine and its current genocidal war on Gaza, how is it that he still remains employed by Britain's public broadcaster?
Now, the most, important news that's come through today is the fact that the Jihad has been proclaimed, and not surprisingly, given the assassination of Khomeini, the spiritual leader of Iran. And the West seems to think that the decapitation of leaders of Iran is going to make them capitulate. Unfortunately, it's going to do the opposite, given the Shiite mantra of revenge, which is quite clear throughout the Shiite world. Now we see people rising to, in fact, engage in war rather than capitulate. We see messages that a little bit worrisome, talk of now Israel being the subject of complete destruction. Now we're looking at the most incredible videos of ballistic missiles hitting Israel and US bases being destroyed. Some of these videos you have to be careful with because the use of AI is now changing things. But the ones that we understand to be true, I think are shocking enough.
مسيرة يا شباب مسيرة اضرب 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 اضرب.
US embassies all across the region are being destroyed, attacked by people. Uh, we now see that given the false flag attacks by Mossad agents on Gulf states such as Oman, and also the recent attack on Saudi oil facilities, that the US Israel alliance is trying desperately to bring the Gulf states into the war. I don't know if that'll work or not, but I'm sure the Gulf states are now aware that the US can't be trusted. It's pulling out its defenses, its air defenses, to more protect Israel. In fact, there are reports of air defenses being pulled as far away as Korea. I wonder what the Koreans think of that. I guess it's another sign of the unreliability of the US at the moment. From the US side, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of problems within the ranks. It was widely reported that many sailors were trying to disable the aircraft carriers' toilet systems, which caused them to dock in Crete. That was the Gerald Ford. But it goes beyond that with reports now of armed forces personnel being called in and called traitor or national security threat simply because they oppose what Israel has been doing. Senior officers have been dismissed, which is not a good look for the cohesion of the Western forces, is it?
So after 20 years of service in the military, yesterday I got pulled into an officer's office and counseled for posts that I have on my social media. During the counseling, they told me I'm under investigation as a threat to national security. When I asked for proof, like what the posts were yesterday, they refused to give it to me. They made me come back today to further go over stuff. They gave me the proof, and the proof they gave me are anti-Israel posts. Now, when I joined the military, I took an allegiance to support the United States of America. I did not ever take an allegiance to support Israel. But yet, I am deemed a threat to national security because I do not support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people.
Now we see that Israel has launched a ground invasion of Lebanon. It's not surprising that Hezbollah is now engaged in a military action, both firing rockets into Israel and taking defensive positions in southern Lebanon itself. For those who thought that Hezbollah was weakened, we can see that, in fact, the Israelis are taking some damage from this invasion. I don't think it's going to go very well for them.
An unprecedented Israeli military buildup has been reported along northern Lebanon, accompanied by intensive airstrikes targeting the south, the Bekaa Valley, and Beirut's southern suburbs. The situation places Lebanon on the brink of a potential ground invasion, as Israel has called on residents of 53 southern towns to fully evacuate, warning that all scenarios are on the table.
On the eastern side of Lebanon, the Syrians under the former ISIS commander Jolani gathering to try and support their Israeli friends. Yes, Israel was the one that was behind the creation of ISIS along with the CIA and facilitated by Turkey. We now see it in truth that ISIS was never a fundamental Islamic uprising of some sort. It was fomented by Western powers with American money and Mossad intervention, unfortunately. And so what we've got now is a very dangerous situation where Turkey is sitting there. Of course, Turkey's been supporting ISIS, but obviously there's a problem with Israel for dominance in Syria. And now if the Syrian ISIS members under Giuliani attack Lebanon in support of Israel, that's going to be an absolute disaster. Furthermore, reports have come in the news that the US is trying to foment a civil war in Iran. The Kurds there in western Iran are only about 10% of the Iranian population. But nevertheless, they're going to try and pretend that they support the Kurds once again after betraying them in northern Syria, leaving them to the mercy of the ISIS mercenaries under Giuliani. But now they want the Kurds to be their friends again. This is how the US is, unfortunately. I don't see this is going to be successful. I think this is very dangerous because, of course, if the US is going to try and arm the Kurds from northern Iraq, the Iraqis are going to have something to say about that, and probably Turkey is going to get involved as well. I'm for self-dependence, just like I was for the Armenians of Artsakh gaining their independence. I don't have a problem with that, but what I have a problem with is the destabilization of an area which is a tinderbox and will probably backfire on the Americans in terms of Incirlik Air Base in the Kurdish area in southeast Turkey will be under huge threat. It's already, as I understand it, been attacked by Iran. So we could have Turkey entering this in a big way. That's a NATO state. I have no idea how that will work. And then on the other side of the Arabian Peninsula, we have Yemen, or at least the Houthi authorities who control most of Yemen. They have declared the closure of the Red Sea routes and demanded that if the Saudis attack or retaliate Iran in any way, then they will attack Saudi Arabia as well. What has Trump's Epstein minders done? What have they done? They have opened up a Pandora's box, which is going to affect us all, because with the closure of the Red Sea comes economic troubles, of course, and nowhere is that more so than the Straits of Hormuz between Oman and Iran, which have been effectively closed because no ship's going to sail through there without insurance, although I understand that Iran will let Chinese ships through, given China is supporting Iran. Then again, Trump believes that he can escort ships through the Straits of Hormuz. And good luck to him. And I feel very sorry for the sailors of the US Navy who will be under threat if they try to do so. I believe that at some stage, Azerbaijan, which has been supporting Israel with oil deliveries via Turkey, despite what Erdogan says, and also hosts bases of Israel on their territory. I believe at some stage Azerbaijan will come into this war because the US is trying to distract Iran, uh, you know, make them look in different directions. We see this with the Kurds. Now, at some stage, they're going to activate the operatives, the Zionist operatives in Azerbaijan. That means that Iran will probably either respond or they may even preemptively attack, which is why I mentioned why the Russian forces in Ukraine seem to be melting away right now. Uh, Ukraine is having some success, but I believe it's because the Russians are holding forces back just in case they need to support Iran, because Azerbaijan just happens to be between Russia and Iran. Now, the West sits there, and in some cases, like Australia, the government shamefully support the US and Israel's illegal attack under international law on Iran. Don't get me wrong, I am for human rights. The Iranian authorities are probably not models of human rights in terms of the way they treat their own population. That is true. But that doesn't give anyone from the West the right to attack another country, particularly as many countries in the West have been supporting the genocide in Palestine. So we have no moral authority, not anymore anyway. And that leads me to other Western nations like the UK, who have been going around in circles, 1 minute saying, US can't use our bases. Trump says, I'm disappointed with Keir Starmer. Then we get a 180 degree when they say, no, they can use the bases to attack Iran. France is sailing its aircraft carrier to the Eastern Mediterranean. I don't know what that's for, but that's just putting, again, forces in harm's way for no particular reason. There are shining lights like Spain. Bless the Spaniards. They, more than 500 years ago, in 1492, ejected the Jews because obviously they had problems with them. I'll discuss that in other videos. But Spain has been saying that it will not support the American-Israeli genocides, the attacks, the breaches of international law. And I really appreciate the good people in Spain. Bravo. There are other countries like Norway and Ireland. I think there are cracks in the Western so-called alliance where people are starting to wake up as to how we've been led by the satanic Epstein system run by the Rothschilds into these never-ending wars with the simple aim of supporting Israel. And I'm thinking right now the MAGA movement must be scratching their heads when they see Israel blaming them for the horrendous attack on the Iranian schoolgirls. There's no ally or friend in Israel if you're American. You're just being used. Your tax dollars, your military are being put in harm's way. For what reason? Everybody knows that there was no immediate threat to the United States. It was just a threat to Israel. And all of this has been admitted by the Secretary of State. How is the war going? Well, there are now senior military people who are saying that actually the progress of the war is not great. The Americans are suffering damage. So is Iran, of course, but Iran just has to survive to win. And of course, it has the support of China and Russia. Do not forget, it is not by itself. Whereas the Americans, they have to win this war. They have to defeat Iran completely, to have it capitulate. But in fact, Iran will never capitulate.
I just left a classified briefing on Iran, and it only confirmed what we already knew. Donald Trump is waging an illegal war, and he has no plan to end it.
Even the use of nukes, I don't think, will bring them to heel. Because if that happens, if the worst happens, then I'm sure that there'll be retaliation. Perhaps not nuclear, maybe. I'm sure Iran is close to, producing nuclear weapon now, given that the order from the Ayatollah Khamenei has been rescinded, given he's gone now. Or it could be retaliation from China or Russia, who knows. It's not good for anybody on this planet. And as some people are saying, we don't see an end to the war. This is months, probably. And I hope that all our friends and family remain safe in the homeland. We're going to try and get back in a couple of weeks. But more than anything, I hope that there's a miracle, that some common sense prevails, that in fact there's a decapitation of the US leadership, not necessarily the Iranian leadership, so the US can get rid of this filth from Epstein, who is trying to distract from the Epstein files. And in this way, hopefully we can bring a peace to this world and not take the next steps to widen it even further. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland.